Hello, and welcome to the Cash Furnace. My name's Eric Downs, and together with my host, Paul Kinzierski, I still just call you Paul every once in a while,
It's all right.
we aim to be your daily go to source for stock and crypto news. Today is, I don't even know, what day is today?
It's the
Today is
7th, February
February
7th.
7th, 2021, Super Bowl Sunday. And you are tuned in now to our weekly Sunday drive. This is our open form, long form, freewheeling live stream where we don't have an agenda, we don't have any subject matter. Just want to talk about what's going on in our in the market, in the world, in our lives, and see how it
What
all
we
ties
seen?
together, and see if we can
Oh yeah.
find a way for it to help us make some money.
So I wanted to start this off for our viewers. I took a nice little ski vacation up in Vermont the past couple days, so I've been pretty out of the market, just occasionally checking in. Um, but what do I see on the way there? A suburban propane building. I thought it was too
Uh,
too ironic. If you saw our Friday podcast, and I was like, damn you, suburban propane.
it's gonna haunt you for a while until next quarter.
Until next
Until next
quarter,
quarter,
hopefully.
Yeah. Polly,
So, yeah, go ahead.
hey, so have you seen the well, let me ask you, do you own any Dogecoin?
I have a bag from I can't even tell you how long ago. Um, and when it did its most recent like 400%, I sold somewhere around 300% and just left the rest of the bag to ride. Just because Dogecoin is the coin that always does this. It always pops and then reverts back to normal, back to neutral. This low 2 cent, 3 cent price, and then you buy in again. And you just wait. You just wait a year or a few months and rinse and repeat. It's not gonna make you a millionaire, but it's a nice little bonus every once in a while. Do
Yeah.
you own any? Do you own any?
I generally don't, because from a simple basic value principle of investing, it's a ridiculous idea
That's the worst part, man.
because it's
Like you're
worthless.
like, oh, my money's just wasting away here, but it always has random pumps. Always.
Yeah, it does, and but it's for dumb reasons, you know. It's for
Mm-hmm.
dumb reasons. It's typically because some celebrity, lately Elon Musk, thinks it's hilarious
Yep.
and thinks it's funny to pump it as the next major world currency. And whether he's
Mm-hmm.
serious or not. I mean, look, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not the crypto expert. I mean, technically, it is a functional cryptocurrency, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Technically,
Yes.
it could
Yes.
actually be a currency. It's just no one uses it as such because it was a joke.
Yeah.
Because at
That's
the
a fun.
time,
It was developed as a way to almost. It was developed to be worthless and more like a. Um, you know how Reddit has karma tokens?
right? Yes,
It
yeah,
was supposed to be the equivalence of a karma token. Like you do something cool, somebody gives you some Doge, right?
yeah. See, I always
And
took
it's
it. I
it's
always
never
took it as
supposed to have fundamental value behind it.
right. And I mean, well, and like any currency, the fundamental value behind it is just how much we believe, uh, you
Right.
know, it has. So it could technically be a currency. It could,
Mm-hmm.
but to me, it was developed, um, you know, at the advent of all the huge influx of altcoins, it almost as a commentary or joke about how there are so many altcoins that just sprung up because someone took the Bitcoin code and hit copy paste and then put a new
Yep.
title on it because anyone can do that. And
Yep.
I always thought it was basically commentary on that. So let's go so ridiculous that we're gonna name one after a funny internet meme, the Shiba Inu Doge. That's what I always saw it as. Yeah, I mean, it would be like if the U.S. Treasury, you know, when the mint started, printing quarters with fucking Barack Obama, slapping his own naked ass on it. It's like, yeah, it's
Yeah.
technically a coin, but no one's
Yeah.
going to use it. I don't know.
Right.
So
Well, I'd argue
Anyway.
that would be highly collectible.
well, that would be, it would be. Um, but uh, in his Twitter bio, he will, he'll post Doge memes that are pretty funny and a lot of commentary on it. But he recently topped himself, and from what I understand, my sources tell me you're unfamiliar with his most recent antics, Doge antics. If you have a minute and 42 seconds, I'd be happy to share with you. Would you like to see it?
Yeah,
All right.
absolutely.
Hang on one sec. Gonna bring it up here.
Eric, it's on silent.
Uh-oh. Is it?
Yeah.
How?
I don't know. Your screen share is silent right now. I can't hear anything.
Great. Well, this is worthless. Okay.
You see in the bottom right hand corner, there's a little microphone with a line crossed through it.
No.
Well,
Okay. Well, look, here's the point. You see what we're dealing with here? Did he make this? No idea. No idea. It's basically all this epic imagery with here, I'm going to close this now because that was basically worthless. So it's all this epic imagery coupled with essentially, audio from interviews and stuff like that commenting on Dogecoin. So it's not like he did an actual voiceover for this.
right.
But it exists, and it was posted a day ago. It has 170,000 views on it, and
Oh, that's
Dogecoin-
surprisingly low, actually.
I know. And Dogecoin on the week is up 83%. It's been up to 25% in the last 2 days, each day. Today, it's up 21% right now after a quick drop. So the speculation is, and I doubt this is going to happen, but I put on a little bet on Dogecoin. I would never normally buy it.
Okay.
Right?
Yep.
I put down some money on Dogecoin yesterday. In the off chance that this ad somehow does air during the Super Bowl, because God knows the world's richest man who loves punking the whole internet and the crypto community with this very, entertaining crypto anomaly. Lord knows he could afford to do it. And Lord knows that the advertising department of the Super Bowl knows that would pump the living shit out of viewership.
Yep.
It's a win-win for everybody. It really is. Nobody really loses if this happens. Now, will it happen? I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't know. But I'm making the
Go
bet.
ahead.
If it does, I have like a little, back pocket bet that if it's gonna, and I chuckle with friends. I'm like, this is the most interested I've ever been in the Super Bowl. I'll watch it now, and if this thing pumps, I'm gonna pull out my phone and just watch it, and I'll probably give it like till the end of maybe a few hours, a few hours, and then I'll sell.
Yeah, if it does happen, I'm immediately selling the rest of my bag.
Yeah, it's gonna implode immediately afterwards. So, dude,
That's so funny.
That's my big piece for today. I think that's absolutely amazing. I love when, when social media, when finance, when technology, when all of these worlds collide in these hilarious ways, I just think it's absolutely, I think it's just delightful, and it really makes, I don't know, I say it all, I say it every day, man. What a time to be alive! All of these converging like the sectors and lanes
Yep.
of the world crossing in really funny ways, man. I love it. So anyway, that's my thing today. I'll fill you guys in on it, on how it goes.
Yeah, I doubt it would ever get aired simply because you have to put so much planning into it, right? This was just made, and it has to be like
who knows how who knows
you
how
have to lock down your Super Bowl spot pretty fucking early.
Well, perhaps, but how long ago that, you know? Uh-oh, Paulie, did I lose you?
You're cutting in and out.
Can
I
you
can
hear
hear
me?
you now. You said but.
Okay. But oh yeah, I said but who knows how long ago this ad was made? You
True
know?
enough.
Could have been
This is all in
6 months ago.
Elon's
you know?
giant plan to make a shitload of money off a shitcoin.
Who knows? And that's the thing. There are no pump and dump regulations. You know,
Yep.
there's nothing regulating this. So, you know, I don't think he's being a jerk by doing it, but it's just
That's
like,
so
you know,
funny.
he knows it can happen. So,
So
like, why
funny.
not?
Hey, that'd be. I would
anyway,
be super
there we are.
excited to see any sort of crypto advertisement. That actually brings up a good point. I wonder if, I guess, Coinbase and the rest of the exchanges don't really. I guess the big two that would have the opportunity to today would be Coinbase and Gemini, just simply because of funding and how much money they have as a company. It would be really cool if they had some sort of advertisement today. It's something I didn't even think about until you brought up this whole Dogecoin thing. But I mean, talk about making strides into a like person's attention, right? If they put an advertisement in the fucking Super Bowl, that would be a big deal. I wouldn't be
very
surprised
wise of
if
them
that
to
happens
do so.
next year after Coinbase is a publicly traded company.
I mean, I think it behooves them to. I think it behooves them to do it now, for sure. We'll see. I don't know. I love the prospect of it. So, speaking of bets, though. Speaking of bets,
I know where you're
my
going
friend,
with this.
we have
do.
another open bet on the table,
Ethereum.
and that bet is Ethereum to
2K,
20K
2K.
by we'll give you till mid. So sorry, 2K. We'll give you till the end of the day. Okay, we'll give you till midnight, and we'll fill everyone into it. But if it doesn't happen, we have received an excellent wager from one of our thousands of dedicated viewers, and I wanted to share that on the air here.
I haven't even looked at it. What are we dealing with here?
So Ray Kobza, again, he's one of our most esteemed viewers. I know there's so many of you guys out there, but I just want you to know we read every single comment. I know. How could we do it? There's thousands of them an hour. We care that much. So this is who we are. Ray from a day. Ray writes in and says, "I think the loser should make a T-shirt with the winner's face on it, captioned "My Hero" on the front and Cash Furnace runner-up on the back. The T-shirt must be worn by the loser for every Monday recording for 6 weeks. And when this podcast blows up, sorry, Ray, it already has. The first post of your Instagram page will be the loser in the T-shirt."
I like that.
Now, you know what?
Actually, yeah,
I actually think that's a good bet because it's very attainable. It involves the perfect level of embarrassment, which is great.
Okay,
I think
I'm down
should,
for that. Yeah, you'll have to make the graphics
wager?
for it because you're the graphics guy. But
Okay, I can do it. I can make the graphics.
good suggestion.
All right, Ray. Thank you for your suggestion. Thank you for your viewership. We love having you here, man. You know, I know you're just I know you might feel like one in a school of 10,000 fish who are viewing this show every day, but I just want you to know that we see you, dude. We see you. We know you're you're tuning in. You're working hard at the gym. You're getting your pump on. You're getting your finance on. Listen, man, that's all I have to say.
Okay. All
That's
right.
all I
I
have to
love
say.
it. I love it. So, speaking of crypto news, I thought on Friday, or yeah, yesterday, I thought it was a lock, dude. I thought it was a fucking lock. That thing was running away. Ethereum was running away.
It was.
And then we hit that
It was. It
1750
really
mark
was.
and just all momentum got shut down real quick. So I
Yeah.
honestly think right now all we're
You
doing
know,
is consolidating for next leg up. The only question is
yeah.
got tomorrow.
Well, listen, I was looking at this too. I was paying attention to Bitcoin and Ethereum, and you know, what I always want to keep in mind, it's so tough, right? When Bitcoin hit when it peaked at what was it,
Hmm.
42,000 or
Yep,
something, or somewhere around
42.2 or
there,
something.
and then it pulled back for weeks and weeks and weeks, and the
Hmm.
sell volume took over, and it's so easy psychologically to say like, man,
Yep,
is this it? Is
yep.
that the is at the top? There's no sign of this making thing picking up. And then what I always do, and I do this for stocks too, particularly with like long hold stocks, is if I ever doubt
Hmm.
how the stock is doing, you scroll
Hmm.
the fuck
Zoom out,
out
baby.
and you realize that this big pullback that seems so big if you've been watching the 1 month chart or something like that, this pullback that just seems like the end of
The
Bitcoin
tiniest,
is like
yes,
a
the
pimple on its
tiniest little
back.
imperfection.
It's
Yep. No,
nothing.
I completely agree with you.
Yeah.
It's and it's the way the crypto market goes. I've shared the parabolic chart with you, right? And I keep saying it. I'll keep saying
Mm-hmm.
it till the end of till fall at the very least. We are still so far away from the end of this parabolic run. It's going to get crazy. It's going to get to the point, and this is how you know you're hitting the end, where every day you're afraid to look at the price because you think that it's inevitably going to go down and it's jumped another 10, 20%. Like every single day for weeks on end, you're like, this has to end now. There's no way. And you actually have fear that, like, you're not going to sell the top, that you're not going to get this trade right or whatever, and you're going to lose it all. That's the point where you actually have such hesitation to even look at the price. That's when you know we're kind of reaching the end. And that hasn't happened yet, let's be honest.
Well, and Polly, for all of our viewers out there, what if our viewers are concerned with, with this thing going parabolic and then
Hmm.
completely collapsing uh on itself, when those days come in when you're scared to look at the chart and it's still jumping 10, 20%, whatever it is, what if our viewers want to be a smart trader, what do you recommend? What is the wisest way
Don't look at the
to
price.
trade this?
Don't try to trade it. Don't try to sell the
Okay,
top.
that's a
Right
good
now,
one.
the prices we're getting in, even if we hit that incredible parabolic top, right? Say the price of Bitcoin does hit what some of the people are predicting of like 400,000 this year, right? A massive drop in the price still will wind us up at 50. So you're not going to lose money, right? Yes, you could time it way better and come out with a lot more capital, but chances are I'm not that good of a trader. It's so hard
That's true.
to time these tops. It's ridiculous.
It's true. Um, Polly, if someone really felt compelled, let's say they held, let's say they
Hmm.
held through 2017, and sorry about that. Let's say they held through 2017. Let's say they bought
Yep.
halfway up at 12. It peaked at 20 and it dropped down to 4, and they
Yep.
were like, ugh, I wish
Right.
I had done something about this. If they absolutely feel that they must act, and there's nothing they can, they if they feel they must act, is there any other recourse
You
for
could
them?
sell initial investment when it gets to a certain point. So everything, that's
Ooh,
one of my
that's a good
favorite
one.
things to do with alts, right? Um, when you see an alt
Yep.
get to a 300% gain, you're like, okay, I will sell the initial $1,000 I put in here, and everything else is free. So there's all of a sudden all that pressure of you losing money is gone. Right. Now it's just
It's
icing
gone.
on the cake.
Yeah.
And the biggest thing with this season is we don't know, again, with all the institutional buying right now, we don't know if there is going to be a sell off. So
Right.
when you hit
It's
these
true.
crazy high levels and all of a sudden you're like, fuck it, I'm out. And then it continues to rise and it continues to rise. Like I said, you check your app and you're like, there's no way it could keep going up. And for the next 6 days, it's up another 10% every single day, right? You missed out on another 60% gain. And you're
Right.
just so better off just whatever you can do to become emotionally detached from the price, do that.
Yes. And that's really, I mean, and that's, look,
Absolutely.
it's easier said than
100%.
done,
Yeah.
you know? But it works in your favor to really keep emotion off the table. And I think Paulie, your suggestion on if you wanted to trade this of
Yep.
taking out your principal is an outstanding one.
Yep.
I do that one too with stocks. And as soon as like when I have when I
Hmm.
have active money on the table, when I have my own money on the table, I'm like looking at the thing. Oh, I'm gonna lose. Am I gonna lose to? Oh, it's
Right.
down today. Shit. As soon as I take my principal out, I don't
Hmm.
even look at the stock. I don't even care anymore.
Right.
I don't even
And
care. You
even
know,
if you don't believe,
that's a great
even if you
philosophy.
don't believe in the stock and you just pull your initial and leave the rest to ride, who's to say that you weren't? Everybody's wrong about their theses, right? There are all um, stocks or coins in this case where you're in it initially for the money and you don't see a use case or you don't see, their earnings next year going up or something. And then that company magically pivots when you're not paying attention to it. And just by having that free stock or that free coin, all of a sudden, when it does shoot up because they did something really smart with their business plan or whatever, got a new source of revenue, all of a sudden, you're just like, even more extra money is on the table for you. And if it goes to zero,
Mm-hmm.
whatever, because you didn't lose anything, right? Your net worth didn't necessarily
Right.
go down. Well, it went down, but you didn't lose anything out of pocket on that. So that's definitely
Right.
my favorite thing to do, especially when you see coins or stocks having these incredible bull runs, right?
Right. Yeah. I I think your suggestions are the best ones. If I could add, like, let's say we
Hmm.
had a knob that sort of measured how active you wanted to be involved with
Right.
with trading your crypto. If you took the knob one notch higher than what you just recommended, or I actually even say I could just tack this onto your strategy of taking out the principal. One way you can do that is by uh, using a process that's referred to as
Yep.
scaling in and scaling out. Now again, this is turning the activity knob up, and when you turn the activity knob up, you are gonna get
Absolutely.
more involved with this. So if you don't want to be involved, if you're just like, dude, let's put it on the back burner, it's a fun bet. I don't really understand crypto, but I also don't
Hmm.
want to miss out on it.
Right.
Don't do this. The knob is
Hmm.
is good down here for you. If you want to be active with it, you can do
Yep.
something that's called scaling out. So let's say you put $1,000 in, and now it's $3,000. Like Paulie said, that's great. That's great. Well, instead of selling the
Hmm.
$1,000 in one day, if you think it's going to keep going up and you're not sure, maybe you could sell $100
Right.
for 10 days in a row. You know, that way you leave a little bit of exposure and you're just taking a little bit off the table. You're essentially de-risking at a sort of at a scheduled and even pace. That way you're not missing out if it goes up, but if it goes down, you're
I
not
think
exposed
that's
quite as much. And what
I
you can
think
do is
that's
you can
a fantastic suggestion, and it's something that I know you do. I know I've done for a really long time, and like you said, that's when you're getting more advanced. But every
right.
not every successful trader, but I'd say 80% of professional traders out there who are really trying to do this for the money scale in and out of positions. And they also
Yep.
have stop losses, which is
That's
another
right.
thing we could add into this next knob up, right? You could do this. There's
Yes.
this
Yep.
beautiful thing that no one uses on parabolic charts, right? And it's called a trailing stop loss. And it's fantastic. So what you could do is you go into
Yep.
your exchange, and not all exchanges have them, unfortunately. But if you have a professional exchange, you could say, I'm going to set a trailing stop loss at 15% or 10%, right? When you get these very volatile stocks, you generally want it to be like a higher percentage, like 15 to 18%, right? With something like crypto. But all it
Hmm.
does is as the price rises for our viewers, it continually, your stop loss continually climbs with the chart under 15%. So if it was $1,000 and it dropped 15%, it would sell out and you'd cash out and get all your profits. If it went to $3,000 and it dropped 15%, you would cash out on these major drops, but you'd gain a significantly higher amount from that, right? It's one of my absolute favorite things to do because that is very much a set it and forget it. It again, de it detaches you from being emotional to that stock because you're like, okay, even if it dropped right now from where I am, you set that threshold, whatever it is, 8% down, 10% down, 15% down. You're like, I'd be okay with selling 10% below the current price. And if it's a trailing stop loss, the rest of the money you just gain is just cake, icing on the cake again.
That's absolutely correct. I love trailing stop losses, man.
It's so
Like,
underutilized.
yep.
No one talks
Like
about them.
it is the best set it and forget it method you can use.
Yep,
It's fantastic.
agreed.
Yep.
Agreed.
So
So,
awesome.
off of crypto, what are you looking at this week, stock wise? You got anything you've been interested in or you see moving?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I do. So let me bring up my list here. I always set reminders for myself. I have a daily reminder that goes off at 6:25 and 6:45, and I just update it for what I want to watch right before the market, what I want to pay attention to right when the market opens, and then 6:45 is after everything's settled down. Then I can be like, okay, what were the longer, slower positions I want to get into?
Right.
So I have a few of each. My three short-term ones, potentially long-term holds, but things I want to look at right away when market opens are MT, PRCH, and RUN. Okay. MT is actually, if you remember, I was talking about this a while ago because there was a really, really extensive DD shared on due diligence, shared on Wall Street Bets before all this GMC crap happened.
This is the
By
metals play, right?
yeah, it
The
was
steel
steel.
play?
Yep,
Yes.
and it was written very extensively by a member, an owner of a smaller steel mill. So I'm like, okay, reputable source, man.
Right.
And it was really well written. It really, truly was. And the basic thesis of it was that all construction materials right now are basically inflated because supply is low. Because
100%, dude.
exactly. And because COVID basically meant, oh, girl, no, steel mills have to shut down, lumber mills have to shut down, that kind of stuff. So they can't make as much, but there's high demand for the housing and, housing market and stuff like that because, loans are so low. And then combine that with, record low real estate inventory means, demand is super high, prices are high. It's a very interesting dynamic right now. But construction materials were undersupplied, And this guy's thesis was, look at MT. They're a huge steel mill, very cleverly positioned. And you look at them, and the run up is like, oh my God, how did I wish I would have seen this, 6 months ago.
Right.
And so his thesis was, this thing's gonna fucking rip in 2021.
Right.
So I initially took out some longer dated, some about 6 months calls on it, and they were up a little bit. I sold some of them, and then it took it just flattened out and took a big turn down. Sell volume took over, and it just turned into a dud. And I was like, what happened? Like, why?
Yep.
And but nonetheless, I monitor everything. I just see how check in. I just do a little
Yep.
check in, see how everyone's
Yep.
doing. MT has reached a bottom, and the thing that tipped me off to this is someone in a Discord that I'm in noted that X, which is U.S. Steel, took for some reason had a huge gap down, and I actually don't even know why. Maybe it was an earnings thing or something like that. But they were like, X is set for an easy recovery because it was already beaten down, and then it took an extra gap down.
Right.
It should be a simple recovery. And so I was like, I looked at the X chart, and I was like, wow, yeah, oh shoot, wow, it's sell volume's waning off, and looks like it's about to cross over. It's the bottom of a channel, hitting like a year-long support. I wonder what this means for MT. So I looked over to MT, and MT is basically the same. It's just X had a very drastic downturn. MT had a slightly less drastic one, but it's at the same crossover point. So I am going to monitor that closely, and I might look to get back in and see if we can get a further run up on MT. Now, what's going to wreck that play is if, vaccines work, reopenings work, people return to work safely. I want those things. Don't get me wrong. I want those things. But if those don't happen, MT is a good trade. If those things do happen, MT might taper off.
Right. So it's funny you mention MT, because I've been hearing, just with recent shipping shortages, because right now everything that we have coming from, specifically with China, our trading is there's such a massive influx of what's coming into the United States than what's going out from the United States back to China. Right now, we have, I believe, for every 4 shipping containers that come from China and come here, 1 gets sent back. So we're actually dealing with, and this kind of has to do with metals as well, because they're made out of steel, shipping containers. We're dealing with a massive surplus in this country of shipping containers, just in general, right?
Interesting.
So what I've been thinking about looking into, and now that you've mentioned this, I'll probably do this today, early tomorrow, is I've been looking into, there's a very big movement now for shipping container homes, shipping container stores, shipping container medical facilities like mobile vaccination units, et cetera, et cetera. And the 2 tickers that I'm looking at are FTAI and then also SGBX. And they develop a ton of different basically uses for these extra shipping containers. But because the shipping containers are so cheap right now, because we have such this massive influx, their profitability, because they have to pay so little for these containers, I have a feeling is going to go way up for Q1, Q2 if this continues, right? So I'm going to look into that more, and I'll update the viewers per usual on where that thesis rises.
Yeah, I'd like to see.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, cool. That dovetailed very nicely.
Yes. What was you had 2 others.
I technically have 3 others, but they'll be very brief. 2 of them were ones that I pulled out of the Discord that I'm in. One of which I know so they are PRCH and RUN. So PRCH is Porch. You can sort of think about it as like, basically Porch offers a bunch of white glove residential homeowner services that cover anything from, you know, pre-moving, moving in, maintenance, improvement on someone's house, basically all of these different services, insurance, security, TV and internet, utilities, you know, like maintenance and stuff like that. They are sort of a white glove service that handles all of those things.
Mm.
And they only recently IPO'd. I heard about them as like a quick blip and I kind of forgot. I was like, I don't know what that is, whatever. Someone mentioned it in the Discord today and I looked at it and I was like, wow, it's like really ripping right now. And then I looked into, I need to look into a little bit more, but I looked into just the sort of basics of what their modeling looks like. And I was like, oh, wow, they don't really have any competition. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and their TAM, the total addressable market, is enormous. I mean,
Yeah.
especially because we're going to be seeing an immense level of basically residential exchange happening probably with over the next 2 years, 2 to 3, I don't know, maybe 2 to 5
You're
years.
absolutely right. Yeah.
Yeah, these guys are they're positioned to basically take care of you and make sure that, you know, they don't buy the home for you, they don't set it up, but they take care of you. They offer services for basically everything home related you could ever need. I think that's a pretty compelling point. So I'm actually probably going to go long on it. Like I'm just going to buy.
You'd
stock
have to
on
go
it.
very long.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's a long
Yeah.
play. I'm going to toss it in my grandpa fund, and
Yep.
I think it's a great one.
That's a great point to bring up because no one's the I'll say it a million times. Where you make the most money is when you invest before the
Yep.
attention gets on the stock.
That's right. In fact,
So
just like good real estate, if when you get a good when you get a good deal, you make your money when you buy.
that's right. That's absolutely right. Yep.
Yep.
No, I think that's a great idea, and I'm looking forward to hearing your updates on that because that's
Me
a
too.
really big deal. No one is looking at that right now because it hasn't happened yet, right?
Right.
This transition of housing and whatever hasn't occurred and won't occur for a while now that they put another 6-month extension on the eviction.
Oh yeah, on the more eviction moratorium and
Thank you,
forbearance.
moratorium.
Yeah.
Yes, and
Yeah.
and forbearance as well.
What's
So on that if your homework shows that it's a good time to buy.
Yeah. Well, my first Google search right away was because this seemed like such an interesting. I don't want to call it a vertical, but I mean, I guess it is a vertical. But like right away, I want to know who are their competitors, right? Here, and just remember what I just described to you: pre-move, move-in, home improvement, things like this, security, TV, TV, internet, and renovation. All of these home services. Just think about that as a bundle. Here are the list of their competitors, and I put heavy. I'm all quotes, double quotes on this. Home Advisor, House, Thumbtack, Handy, Zarly, Angie's List, TaskRabbit, ShiftGig, Nextdoor, Talk Local. These are not competitors.
No.
These are not even close. These
No.
two.
And what are the market caps on all those in comparison? Probably pretty damn high.
Yeah, I mean, these are all
Yeah.
these are all very popular services, but they only handle one tiny slice of what Porch does.
Exactly. So
You know?
if they're only handling a small subsection
Combine
of
them
what
all
Porch
together.
can do, combine them all together.
Yep.
This is my thesis for DBX, right?
Yep.
For Dropbox. And you see a competitor that only deals with one area. For DBX, it's DocuSign for me, having 4 to 5 times the market cap and money invested in it. That's just a smart play. It's just smart. You already see there is money in the area. It's just where the attention isn't yet.
Right.
That makes me very excited. Yep.
They have a moat.
Yep. Great.
So that's one, and then there are two more. The second one is Run, which is Sunrun Incorporated. It's a solar company. To be perfectly honest, I don't know why this is a good play. It just came up. I looked at the chart and I was like, wow, Interesting. So someone mentioned like, hey, do you guys it looks like Sunrun is bottoming, could be ready for its next leg up. And I noticed and I looked at the chart. I was like, wow, I totally agree. It's sitting. It's plopped very comfortably on its 200-day moving average. And just like most tech stocks, it had a big run. It incurred some sell volume, and its sell volume is about to cross over. I need to look into this
Nice.
as to
Yeah.
why this is a good play versus something like Tesla Solar or Solar City, but it's interesting nonetheless. Solar as a whole, I don't think is a tremendously bad play. I don't know fundamentally why this is good, but that crossed my desk. And then
Right.
the last one is Open Door, and Open Door is going to be another one that probably goes into my
Grandpa fund.
grandpa fund. Yeah. So you know about
Okay.
Open Door, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So what's interesting to me, the one part I wanna understand more is how Open Door is. I know Open Door was a very successful SPAC IPO under one of Chamath's social capital SPACs. What I want to understand, I mean, you look at the Open Door chart and it's like, oh, okay, cool, like looks great. But what I want to understand is why Open Door, what moat Open Door has against companies like Zillow, Redfin, really is doing some interesting stuff these days. I noticed.
I
Open
think
Door,
Redfin's a great company, and that was going to be my first point
yeah,
against it. I think they have general interest. They are a front runner in the area, and sometimes you just can't beat the momentum that some companies get by being like the first in, right?
yeah.
But go ahead, Open Door.
Well,
What's
no,
what's interesting you about it?
that's it. That's really all it is. And it came up. I don't remember how it came across my desk, but I, I, I really don't remember how it came across my desk. But I knew about it before, and I wanted to check in on it. I was like, wow, it seems to be performing really well. I don't really understand, like, what's it? We say we have our Redfin and Zillow stock. Let's see how all these guys are doing. I haven't actually checked in on these. They're probably a good buy. Um, yeah, geez. They're probably doing very well. Um, yeah, Redfin really took off as soon as at the bottom of COVID. It bottomed out at about $10, and it's currently at 70.
Wow.
And Zillow did basically the same thing. It bottomed at 25, and it's now at 163. So both Redfin and Zillow were really great buys. And to be honest, I actually don't think they're bad buys in the future. Door is going to compete, but like I said, it's on my watch list. To be
Right.
perfectly honest, having recently have bought my first investment property, I would be more inclined to leave Zillow simply because, like you
Same.
said, market share.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
Porch.
Sometimes you can't beat it.
Porch is exciting.
But I completely agree.
Yeah.
That's the one that's piqued my interest the most today. Metals play, we had the discussion where I get extremely nervous about the fact that the Biden administration is reopening these trade lines with China, and China is really, really good at making cheap steel in comparison to the US market, right? And I mean, the numbers don't support showing them shipping over. And also, now that I'm thinking about it, the Biden administration just last week talked about the importance of buying American, right? How they were really emphasizing small businesses within the US, putting our money back into our economy and not other industrial powers. So maybe that won't even be a problem moving forwards, but
Right.
we'll see. We'll see.
Beautiful.
I mean, that's pretty much what I got for the day.
Great. Well, it's perfect
Anything-
timing
anything
because
else
I
for
gotta
you?
go.
All right. Well, as usual, viewers, that big three: like, subscribe, comment, share if you can. And have a great day. Thank you for tuning in.
Help us
We'll
help
see you
more
for
people
Monday.
make more money.
It's our new motto.
I'm
I
gonna
like
try
it.
and pump that every episode.
I like it.
All right,
All
guys.
right, guys.
See you later.
Peace out.
All right, and we're off.